Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right. It's good to see such beautiful people in the house today. As we get started, and all that good stuff. Y'all like making money? I always have to lay that foundation first. You know we are here about making money, right? So I like seeing y'all. And glory be to God, I'm going to continue to see y'all for years to come. And I want to see you paid. And I'm not talking just regular people paid. Not average people paid. Y'all know what I mean? This is about, excuse me, I had to get that out in the beginning. But this is really about making more money than the average person imagines. We all have dreams in life, and we like dreams, but most people take dreams as just that. Most dreams are not accomplished. That's why you have to convert your dream into a goal. So what I want you to do before I go get into the system of saying this is how you get it, but we have to know what get it is, right? Because if you don't know what it is, if you ever lose sight of the goal, you've heard people say, man, oh, they lost sight. They lost their way. Well, when you lose sight of the goal and you lose sight of the way, it's because you're not actually working towards something. So for me, I can speak that mess because I'm working towards something. You know, so when I say I want $1 billion company, I tell you all the time, I need a helicopter to land on my house. In the words of Brother Locken, I got that. When I speak those words, because that's not a dream for someone else, it just goes over their head. But it's still mine. Y'all get that? See, I have a 18-year-old daughter who, when she goes off to college, you know, I want her college experience to be that of excellence. That also takes money. I also don't want it to be anything like mine because it was harder for me. You know, I barely graduated from college. But the difference was I was going to work, doing what I had to do in school, and still. And I didn't subscribe to that mindset of, well, you know, that's what makes you who you are. Well, I'm sorry, the Candy kids that do that, and they're doing pretty well. You know that? So when you get out of the mindset of this is what you have to go through, what you're doing is you're saying you never graduate to the next level. So imagine being in school and stuck in the 11th grade. You do everything right because you struggle because times are a little tougher for you. The walls are a little tighter for you. You're told it's okay. You have to stay at this level anyway. And you're made to feel good for non-achievement. Does this make sense? We hear this a lot, and it happens when we speak on curses. People don't realize that they're speaking curses into their children or the family's lives when they excuse the lack of success. Oh, it's okay if you don't make it. Oh, it's okay. After so long, it's like I had to ask the question, you know, I rattle feathers. I said at the football meeting, you know, I'm going to coach my little guy's team. You know, they said, well, you know, the kids are going to keep score anyway, but it's really not about that. And I just said, I'm not going against the grain, but I never understood why don't we keep score? Because when I played, even at 7 years old, we kept score. Why did we stop keeping score? Well, we don't want kids to really understand or have anyone's feelings hurt. And I said, but somebody's winning and someone's losing. And then I said, we can see in the politics today that we grow up to that. And I said, so is it okay if the kids keep scoring? Because I would like to tell my team, you won. And if they didn't win, I would like to say this is why we didn't win versus just say you lost. And they said, you know, so they put it up to me. And I said, well, we'll be keeping score. You know, and then another guy raised his hand, but yeah, we do that. And I just said, well, if I can keep score, I'm going to keep score. I said, we all share a different philosophy. And I said, my philosophy is a little tougher. And I said, now, I'm not going to be going to a 7-year-old like, boy, you know, being tough. But it's like you were raising a generation of punks. Because in essence, that's what we have done. You know, we marched in the 50s and 60s and early 70s when we had civil rights that came for us. But then we stopped doing that and we started saying everything's okay. So then in legislation down in North Carolina, I don't know if y'all noticed, they just took certain voting rights off the books. So now people, not even college students, can't vote if they don't have a state ID. Forget your college ID, but the college is a university in the state, right? So it's one of those things that make me say, you know what? If we don't get out here and start really teaching, then we're going to always have the Trayvon Martin stories. We're going to always have this is what happened. And when you heard a philosophy over last campaign and say we need to take America back, haven't I always taught you pay attention to the words? I've said assets, liabilities, his story, all of that, right? Well, I listened intently, like, wow, they said they want to take America back. Well, back to what? Back to the days when we couldn't be congregated together and make solutions to businesses, back to the days. So it's coming down to, at the end of the day, you better have some economic empowerment. So I may not be able to change the world, but those around me won't be broke. Does this make sense? And we have to teach and be a little tougher because it's like we go through this thing I call it self-inflicted pain. So if you go 1 year and you say, wow, that year that didn't work. Well, it's up to you to adjust everything about what you're doing so that the next year does work. Does this make sense? If not, you become those people that sit there and just talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, in which those that know me really close and personally, that's actually my pet peeve. You can only talk to me about something for so long before it actually starts irritating me, because then I'm going to say, well, what are you going to do about it? Like if somebody says, man, somebody should come up with something to do this. And I was like, wow, you missed what God just told you. You know, if someone came, you know, when you hear that, someone should come up with something, then I'm like, well, why don't you start with you? So we have to start by getting economically empowered and then make the world better. So I wasn't giving well over $1 million to kids to go to college just so people can say, wow, Paul Jones gave all these kids money to go to college. Do y'all understand that? Mm-hmm. I did it so people could get educated to know better. Then I look at our educators and I'm like, so now you're going to just say, oh, you didn't fail? No, fail the kid. But sit down or tell them they lost the game, but sit down and tell them in a way that it doesn't deflate them. Show them how to get back up. Success is nothing, but you lost that game. How you going to get back on and play the next game? So when you have an entrepreneur-minded person like me, a success-minded person like me, that means I know that even in some days of business, it's just not going to go right. I can't sit back and be like, oh, Brother Lockett, it didn't go well, so I quit. It's like, no, I got to quit some things, but it ain't the things that people think you got to quit. You have to get back on your high horse and say, okay, let me make this adjustment. Sometimes it's personnel adjustment, sometimes it's mental adjustment, sometimes it's consulting adjustments, sometimes it's just saying, go harder. You just didn't go hard enough. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. Look how close Adrian Peterson got to really breaking the record, like 30 yards or 9 yards? 9 yards. And I'm like, man, that would haunt me. I know it's haunting him. But if I ended a season and was 9 yards short, that would make me think of every time I swagged, I cut, I could have got 1 more yard per carry. Over 9 carries, 1.5 more yards. So we have to realize that, you know what, you're going to break a record in your personal life. So if all you made your best year was 45,000, then make 45,100 the next year. Then just break that record, but don't be consistent at staying the same. As people say, well, I pay all my bills, I do this and that. I'm like, really? So you don't want to get to the point where you can just pay them off. Right. It's like, wake up in the morning, what are you doing today? Whatever I choose. It's like, well, I don't have any bills. And the bills that are perpetual that come anyway, well, that money's already set up because I have perpetual money coming to take care of these perpetual bills. The things gonna keep on coming, well, I got money keeping on coming. Y'all get that? Mm-hmm. So the stuff I need to get paid off, well, I got money and I got that paid off. But the difference is when you pay it off, don't go create a new problem. You pay it off and now you build up an asset. Okay, I'm talking too good for you. So now let's just get into it because I want us to really get this. That sparked me this morning when I watched the news. I'm like, so all the people in North Carolina just sat there and let them change the law. Stuff like that infuriates me. When I see people of color talk politics, I ask them, well, what are you really going to do? So I'm saying, let's go in and show people how to make money. Then you go back and say, well, the person who changed the law, we're saying should give us the money. And I'm like, okay, after so long, you got to stop being dumb. I don't even care about offending people now. After so long, you got to stop going to whomever your oppressor is and saying, give me the money so I can stop you from oppressing me. You get what I'm saying? It's like, so you got to realize for every action, okay, we got this guy in the White House. Now we have to prevent anyone else from getting in there. Is that a light bulb for you?
Right.
That's exactly what's happening. So how do you do that? Well, let's make sure that this group of section of people, if they do vote, it's going to be really hard for them. And I'm sitting there like, wow. So if another person tell me don't have prayer in school, I might shoot him. I mean, don't we wish Trayvon had a gun that day? Hindsight. Okay, let's get to business. What if you recruited only 3 people per day? The only thing that's going to make you do that is your goal. I'll guarantee you, if you don't have a goal that is personal to you, you can't tap into my goal because I want a Rolls Royce family. You may not want a Rolls Royce family. I will accept a Bentley Malzahn because those things are nice. So I gotta have that Rolls Royce Phantom, the Rolls Royce Ghost, or the Bentley Malzahn. You know, you gotta say I'm Malzahn. You know, I got that Malzahn brother Lockett. That's what he goes to have. I can't you see brother Lockett in there with his cigar? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's a matter of nothing's unattainable. And that's, if you ever hear me at any time, that's all I'm saying is that nothing's unattainable. But somehow between the late 70s to now, most people turn punks, just straight up punk. You're a punk. You gonna let that man go and change your law. You just got punked down. You know what I mean? You're gonna, well, that's not right what they did. No, it's not right what you let them do. You get this? People just don't impose on you. You open the door. Y'all get me?
Right.
Sometimes you open the door by ignoring, which is ignore, is ignorance. Pay attention to the words. If whatever you ignore, that's where the word ignorance comes from. So when you say there's some ignorant people, it simply means those individuals ignored the possibility to prevent themselves from being slave-minded, prevent themselves from being able to vote. Don't be ignorant. Think about that. All it means is like whatever you ignore. We'll talk to people. I can show a person how to become a millionaire. I do it every Saturday, every Tuesday. Like, I'll show you Wednesday too. Like, I'll show you how to become a millionaire. Then there's going to be certain things that they will ignore. And then they miss the big part. Are we on the same page? So you have to have a goal. If my mentor has 306 is the number that they killed my mentor outside of, and that number stays in front of me all the time. And I said, the dream did not die then. Dr. Martin Luther King. If he went out and he said, I have a dream that all of us can be together, well, I share that dream. Then when the time goes on, and then we get so self-consumed that you don't realize that, wow, they just took prayer out of school. We get so self-consumed, it's like, wow, they just legalized this and made this normal, and it's not normal. You get so self-consumed that you say, okay, it's okay to stop me from being a business owner. And it's okay for me to just work for these other outfits that don't even care about me, my descendants, or my future heritage. Y'all get this? So that boils down to say, okay, let's not blame anyone else. I'm getting to my point now. Let's just look at the man in the mirror like Michael Jackson said, or the woman in the mirror. And say, well, what was your goal anyway? Well, I just wanted to have a good living. Well, that's what the slave said. Because the level of standard of living at that point said this is all you could have. So if I could just have something over my head, and everything's straight, I'm fine. But now we live in a millennium, past the millennium. We live in a technology world. We live in a world where it's possible. Now, what's your goal? Your goal is possible. The minute you sign up for JMG Network, everything, if it was financial value, was attainable, no matter how big or outlandish it sounds. Because it is the only free enterprise system that the average person can do and not be limited to. There's absolutely nothing that stops you from becoming a multi-millionaire. But if you don't have a goal to work for, then you're going to run out of steam. You're going to get tired. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And when you get tired, it needs to be that something that drives you on. Y'all heard those stories of the car falls on the mother's baby and the mother picks the car off the baby. Mm-hmm. You know, those are real crazy stories, but they're real. Well, it's like, why? Her goal was to save her child's life. So now muscles and power that was in her that she didn't even know she had happened and were used. But when you have a goal that you really don't believe you'll obtain anyway, then any other idiot can come in and say, you really think that's going to work? Do you subscribe to the mindset, or are you just making them rich? And I'm like, my attitude is like, whoever gets rich because of me is fine, as long as I get rich. See, when I signed up in Excel in 1997, y'all realize that I was a bluff. People around said, oh, the big money's made because of some guys that are already making hundreds of thousands a month. But what I realized is the few individuals I was talking to were justifying their laziness. They were justifying their lack of goals. They were justifying their lack of achievement. So they said it wasn't possible. So what I did is I silently, because I'm not a messy person, I started my own training and presentation because I subscribed to a different philosophy. I said, call things and be not as though they were. So I said, we're all going to be millionaires from this business. Several millionaires were created from what we did. But we joined together in a pack and we said, we want to do this by any means necessary. Let's go hard. 2.5 years later after that decision, but you got to realize, most people want the $1 million the minute you say you want $1 million. It took me over 2.5 years. And it came, it doesn't come like, boom, $1 million. It came every month after month. So almost 3 years later, I get a letter from the company that tells me I made it in the top income earners and my income was this. And I can now, because you have to say you actually made $1 million in a company, it has to be proven by the company because they were publicly traded. So you couldn't say in a company you made $1 million if you haven't. So I can't find that for the world. They would have moved offices and offices, but some rep probably has it. Photoshop, they named me. But it actually said Paul Jones is a millionaire from this company. I'm gonna tell y'all, my wife was at Abbott at work when I got the letter. I called her, she thought something happened to our daughter because I was crying like a baby. I was so, but people don't realize when I separated from one meeting and started my own, they bashed me. Oh, he's not a team player, he's not this, he's not that, you know, he's selfish. And I'm like, no, I don't subscribe to your philosophy. And because I don't owe you nothing and you don't owe me nothing, the minute you start speaking whack, I'm done. Does that make sense? I knew where I wanted to be. My goal, you were telling me that my goal was not obtainable. You were telling me at a young age I couldn't have $1 million lifestyle. But it's funny, I can go to the streets. And all the streets are telling me if I sell dope and all of that, I can have that. It's crazy. So I get into a business world and people who didn't look like me were saying, well, that's not realistic nowadays. The big guys have made the money. So therefore, Entrepreneur of the Year award, most inspiring leader, fastest to go from 0 to $1 million in the company's history. We did it. So now I'm looking at y'all and saying, you know what? Not only did we, J.E. was part of it, not only did we do it, we did it big. We created one of the biggest groups within the company. We chartered Sun Country jets to take our entire team, over 200 people, to Dallas to the big conventions. Y'all understand how great that feels? You get all, I was like, Allah, you know how you got the kings from Africa. Now I step off that big old jet, and it's like all of your people, and you're not going to the normal terminal. They take you over to the love field, where you saw Kennedy come off, unfortunately, to the private field. And then we come there. Then I had charter buses waiting on us. All our people had charter buses. On the buses, we shipped in advance 60K magnets. So each bus had reserved for the 60K group. Now the company excelled. I'm telling y'all, they had charter buses for people at the thing, but you had to wait in these long lines. I had my people waiting in lines. When you make 100,000 a month, you spend 100,000. You say take care of the people. So I chartered my own buses and said these buses reserved for 60K group. So our people was going, and they felt good because they bring other people like, oh yeah, these are police buses. Come on. It's like, and they're like, y'all came in on your own jet and all that. And it's like, yeah, we was on cell phones and everything on the jet. It's like, why? You understand the team pride that came out of that. When we came home, cats got to work, and it was just literally took things to a whole nother level. People were accomplishing goals. So y'all get this? We have to realize that we got something good with our company, and we can do it. And our company pays more than that. So I had to put in probably 5 times the amount of people than what you would have to do for the same money. You get paid 2% per customer. We got paid 1/4%. So that means it takes 4 quarters to make a buck, right? And it costs me 4 quarters. It costs $565 to get in. We tops $250, and you get a steak with it. Y'all see where I'm going with this? So I'm not going to subscribe to the mindset that you have to go get these people of this culture and these people of this culture. No, I believe that we can build from the inside out, that we can educate each other in here to go out and build that multi-billion-dollar company. Y'all understand this? This is how it starts. You gotta have a goal. Did all of you write your goal down? Or goals? If you just had dreams, most people don't accomplish dreams. Dreams only occur when you're asleep. I'll repeat that. Dreams only occur when you're sleeping. You need to be a visionary and wake up and still see the vision. When you wake up and you see the vision, then you'll start going to do things. And once you get there, then you won't do like North Carolina and sit down and say, okay, we made it now. That's taught me a lesson too. Just by watching that, I checks me. You learn from people around you too. You never stop learning. But I'm telling you, I'm a geek on information. And I'm like, wow, okay, stop. They settle down. But really, it was the children. So I know what happened. It was the children. And how did you take the children out? Pumping crack cocaine and all this other stuff in the neighborhoods. Taking out the responsibilities, taking the father out of the homes. Because back in the days when we were making change, the father was in the home. Does that make sense? So that's why my wife couldn't put me out. If she tried, this would mean 3 people per day times 7 days. When I say recruit only 3 people per day, as I'm going through this, and put a little more twist on it, but as I'm going through this, I want you to see how simple this actually is. If you're just out every day and your mind, Snoop said, got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. If your goal is there, and you know that your goal takes some form of money, my end goal is to have my own school system and university. I'll tell you that now. I want to hire overpaid teachers to teach certain kids entrepreneurship values so that those kids can go out and be more productive in the world, because it's not just the U.S. no more. Y'all follow me? While doing that, I still want a helicopter that I can land on my house. So some have this philosophy that when you do good here, you're supposed to look like this. No, when Jesus had sandals on, those were the nicest sandals that you could have at the time. They were Tom Ford sandals. You know, he did it right. But we say, well, Jesus didn't have all that. I'm like, Jesus was already rich. I promise you. But people don't realize that the average day I'm around rich people, most people are worth more than me. You can't tell. Most people can't tell. I mean, it's like rich people call me, Paulie, what are you doing? Let's go to lunch. I'm like, I'm working, man. I'm trying to make sure I pass you up. You're so funny. They're just like, all right, Mr. Snyder, man, I'll talk to you later. Folks are rich. You know what I mean? Call me and ask, man, how should we do this? I'm like, how'd you get where you at? Oh, it's crazy. Look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Y'all realize that? Right. I went over this last week that everything is numbers. My goal is to say, you know what? I'm not going to go look and say, go to this neighborhood, go to that neighborhood. I'm looking to say, hey, if God gave me lemons, we're going to make the best lemonade out here. Y'all get this? And the boy that's got Country Town Lemonade is almost a billionaire. Y'all get my point? Mm-hmm. If you just get 3 numbers a day, I have my book Schedule for Success. I will read some stuff to you just so you can see it, but I can tell you because I wrote it. You have to schedule what's important in your life. That means you have to first audit your schedule. When I meet busy people, I'm like looking, I'm like, you're so busy and you broke. You have to schedule success. It's not just the saying of a book, it's a reality to life. You don't schedule your success, you do not gain financial success. I don't care. You can look at it. It's funny how people say, I work out this many times. You know, you look at people who eat right, you're scheduling what you eat, you schedule your calories, you schedule your workout, everything. If I gain weight, I schedule it subconsciously or consciously. You get this. You have a schedule, you have a plan that's working in your life right now. You're just either open to that plan or ignorant to that plan. Remember, ignorant is you're ignoring what's happening. You know, my older sister yesterday, a week ago, we buried her. You know, and I'm looking and I'm like, wow, the casket was this wide. And I'm like, this girl had blew up. She had surgery on both knees, hip surgeries, this and that. And I'm like, man, but she was Miss Corinth, Mississippi at one time. She was the queen of the high school at one time. Just beautiful. But scheduled the wrong meal plan by being ignorant or ignoring nutrition. Y'all hear me? Mm-hmm. So next thing you know, I gotta look at my oldest sister in a casket, and I'm like looking at my mother who's in her 70s. I'm like, girl, you're in your 50s. This ain't supposed to be. You know, and I'm looking at my niece and nephew, her kids, my nephew, her daughter goes to Ole Miss and med school. I'm like, you see your daughter become a doctor. I'm like, my goodness. You know, I'm like looking at them like they in so much pain. So now that's an added responsibility for me, y'all can imagine. You know, and I'm like, man, and it's 9 of us. I'm looking at all 9 of us, or even with one laying there, I'm looking at everybody on the front. And I'm like, man, look at all of us. Look at all of us. And I'm like, man, then I looked at all the grandkids, you know, and my nieces and nephews, just a gang of us. I'm like, we're 9 kids without some kids. You know, I just looked and I was like, man, you know what? But it wasn't no major accomplishments besides the kids. And I'm like, we don't be given so much time. Do y'all realize that? We sit around and act like tomorrow is promised and tomorrow ain't promised. So I'm like, is that hard to go ahead and say, I'm gonna make sure I get 3 new people's names today. Somebody gonna give you a wrong number. You realize that? Mm-hmm. How do I know? It happened to me. Right. You know, somebody actually one day gave me the Minneapolis Police Department number. Right? Never mind. You know, you call someone like, I'm like, is John there? No, John here. I'm like, why are you giving me the wrong number? Cowards. I like those who are like, no, I'm not interested, but God bless. So good luck. Not for me. I don't even care what you got. You know, we know they're ignoring us, right, which is they're being ignorant about something. But that's fine. It's not for us to do that. Why? You got a goal, right? When you have that goal, you're like, you know what, you can't deter me. You know, for real. AP was still, he had a goal. He was running cats down. You ever seen when he ran a dude from the Bears over? And it showed a highlight of him walking on the dude. I mean, talk about humiliation. You're going to have to humiliate some people at times. Not on purpose, but just on drive. Sheer drive. They're going to try to stop you, and you're going to drive right through them. Do y'all get that? Right. When you allow people to stop you, that means you didn't have your momentum up. You didn't have your drive intact. You got to go for it. Y'all feel me? Let's get the whole page up. 21 new people per week. 4 weeks, 84 a month. 12 months, 1,008 new prospects per year. You have to be mindful of these numbers. You ever heard of saying numbers don't lie? The numbers don't lie. With that formula, everyone would win because it's just a lot of numbers. Some will get involved and quit. Some will get in and stay at it. You'll meet people all the time, and I watch them. I have fun with them. They're wishy-washy, up and down like the stock market. 1 minute, JMG, or I'll be at every Saturday, I'll be at every Tuesday, I'm doing this. And then the next Saturday, you don't even see them. I'm like, what happens? You know, so as a researcher and an author of books, you know, I do a lot of research because I don't want to write a book and then look ignorant. You know, like, this guy that wrote this book is stupid. I can't believe he wrote that. You know, and it's because you ignored some other information. But I look and say, well, if a person knows the job is only going to pay them $35,000 a year tops, and knows we saying, let me get you $35,000 a month, but they put more attention to the job than they do the thing that can get them that a month, then that means they don't believe that they can get them a month. Is that? People will tell you, I believe I just had this going on. And I'm like, well, how much is that going? You know, they paying you? Y'all got this down? Yep. So the system? All right. This business is to be worked like a real business. Those who truly respect it as so live and rich a quality lifestyle. What if you and your 3 people work with the same system? So you got you and the 3 you brought in. The main thing is you have to form a bond with those 3 individuals. You have to find 3 quality people. You have to make sure that they truly have a goal, and it's not hype, not a dream. It's a real goal. You know, all the goal is, if it's serious, y'all have the dream, but the dream is converted into steps to get the baby steps to become that, and that becomes a goal for you. So I have a dream for the Rolls-Royce Phantom. I have a dream for a certain lifestyle. I have a dream to do certain stuff for my own mother. That's a dream. So in order to accomplish that dream, then I have to accomplish some little baby steps, and those steps will climb me to that main point that I always wanted. And then when you get there, don't say, I arrived, and then let your guard down. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, the house decays. It will eventually start to leak. So you have to take care of it. You get that? If you get there and you stop taking care of it, you're going to walk in one day and say, man, this was a beautiful house one day. And because over my garage, I hate when it rains. We got to fix the roof on the far side garage. And then there's a leak in there. I'm like, man, like, you got to patch it up. You got to fix it. You get this? You could have a nice car, and one thing you know, that transmission light come on in the car. You be like, man, maintenance. So you never get there and then say, aha, I arrived. You get there and you always maintain the things that got you there in the first place. That's why we say maintenance. You get this. You're going to sit down, you're going to start studying the dictionary like I started years ago, and you're just going to have a good understanding of words and where they arrived from and how they became the word they are today. Mm-hmm. So when you stop maintaining what you did to get you where you want to be, things start to fall and break apart at that point. You take a jet engine, gets you 30,000 feet in the air. Those jet engines must maintain a certain thrust. If those jet engines lose thrust, you drop hundreds to thousands feet per second. You get this? You're rated at miles per hour, but you drop per second. It's funny how that works. That would mean if you really did this, those 3 people work the same system. That would mean 84 new prospects per week. How many people did you speak to, especially last week? I had a cheat day that you had 50,000 people walking around you. Had Rondo days. And by the way, looking at the pictures, I was like, man, I should have been there just to look at the scenery. I know you had a good time, Brother Wallace. I know he did. I was like, I need to be with Wallace right now, boy. I was like, because he look at what I look at. So that would mean 84 new prospects per week. Times that by 4 weeks, that's 336 people per month. You're in a business, which is the people business. If you got your 3, and you just say, hey, I'm gonna get my 3 a day, you get your 3 a day. And everybody's committed to do it. I'm showing you how to build an empire here. Everybody just commits to do it and just does it. That week or that 4-week period, you don't went through 336 people. 12 months, you went through 4,000 people per year. Now, if a senior director signed close to only 12%, they would have 484 agents coming in that year. So I know those other 16 reps or customers that they may need, they'll probably have on their own, which would put them at 500. And our plan, when you hit the 500 mark, you instantly get a luxury lifestyle bonus. Do I get that? Mm-hmm. So at $50 a rep, though, for senior directors, you got $24,200 at minimum on bonus money. Because you being a senior director, you sign up your 3 managing reps, and you had them working with their 3, and they were working with theirs, and they worked with theirs, and everybody worked the system. And as they're building for the year, you put in 484 people. So you got $24,200 just in bonus money. Now add this with the $1,500 per month lifestyle bonus, and your normal residual approximately $200 more would net a senior director a minimum of $45,800 per year. So when you go break this down and you say, okay, these people work at these companies and they're working 50 hours a week, they make $50,000 a year. But that's real. The average person that makes $50,000 a year. Now, let me understand that. If you're bringing home cash $45,000 a year, you make almost $100,000 a year.
Say that again.
If you're bringing home cash, a minimum of $45,000 a year. If you did that at a job, you're making really almost $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. The employee doesn't have write-offs. The owner does. Y'all understand this? Mm-hmm. So you technically aren't making $45,000 a year if you were to put it in a normal working situation. You're making $80,000 to $100,000 a year, depending on how you write things off. A person who has a salaried position making $80,000 to $100,000 a year, I promise you work 50 hours a week minimum. They are executive minded. You become executive minded. You get up every day and you have a mission. But if you're doing 2 hours, 3 hours a week, and no, it's gonna happen at that rate of work. Do y'all get this? Mm-hmm. So all I did was I outworked everyone else. When I gave you that story of how I did in less than 3 years with some, I mean, there are guys who've been in a company 10 years and had never inked 200,000. You know, if they got 14, 15,000 a year, which is great, they were happy. So here I am in less than 3 years, do this, oh, he had to been doing something. It couldn't have been, I just worked that many more hours. See, like I said, I don't want my daughter to go through what I went through. Before class, I was at Rickenbaugh Cadillac and Volvo dealership in Denver, Colorado, before class. I got there at 6 a.m. I detailed cars from 6 a.m. to 10:30, approximately 11. My first class was at 11:30 a.m. I would leave there winter, whenever. And I didn't have a car, and I would run to my first class. And I did. From there, I had to work at Taco Bell. So I'd do all my classes that day. That evening, I go to Taco Bell. So Sundays I didn't work anywhere, and Friday evenings I didn't work anywhere. Saturday mornings I was at Taco Bell. When I got off of Taco Bell about 5 or 6 Saturday, I did school and homework stuff all from Saturday evening through Sunday, whatever it was. And then the next week started over. So it was hard. Like I said, my grades weren't like, my daughter's grades blow mine away. And now I'm like, you got to go further. But what I'm really saying is I always had a work ethic. So therefore, when I got out of school, I was Taco Bell, 7 to 5, 7 to 4. And I go detail cars, 4 to 8, 4 to 9. Well, when I got in this, I took the same values with me. And I just went to work and I grind out. So therefore it hit. We did numbers like this. So as it goes, plus would you get a free vacation for you and your guests? So you think about this. You know you're en route for an Escalade. You know you're getting a vacation. You're getting all this. So make time on this earth. As I said before, the average American person would drive 789,000 miles in a lifetime. 9,100 hours commuting for work alone. We'll watch 9 years of TV time, including 2 million commercials. Work 122,400 hours for the government in a lifetime, which is you paying taxes. So it's like, all right, I'm saying I'm take your cut. So what are you doing with your time is the real question. We have to really ask that question. I'll guarantee you, when you audit your own personal schedule, you'll look and you'll see a lot of wasted time. Every busy person that says they're busy, you'll look like, okay, so you left this job and you drove 15 minutes to this job. And then you just sat in the car and that's your revitalization or whatever. You played music and you did whatever, or you called and checked kids, but you didn't do nothing for yourself. So now you go to another one and putting in time, and all these breaks. I'm like, I didn't want to break. If they say clock out, I had a problem. I remember telling managers, like, in the restaurant world, they would say, we're short on hours, so you have to clock out an hour and you clock back in. And I say, you got a problem. I'm here to make money. The minute you stop me from making money, I have to go someplace else to make money. And I will always maintain that control. So you have my knowledge, you have my experience, you have my know-how, because I know how to run everything in this restaurant. If you clock me out, I must go across the street and clock in. So you make a decision. I'm here to make money. That's my plan. Well, okay, I gotta go tell somebody else to clock out. So that's not a part of my plan. And every now and then, it's like, well, if you clock out and don't clock back in, then we're gonna have to let you go. No, then I'm gonna have to sue you. And tell them, and I'm serious. So I'm here to make money. The shift said this hours. If you would have told me it would only be for 2 hours, you have to count my bus fare and all that. I rode the bus there to get here. I would check them every time because I was always smarter than them anyway. I would check them every time. And I would get them so caught up in their words and their tongue tie. That's why some arguments with me, especially old girlfriends. Can you imagine, Brother Fred? I'd be like, what? Like I've been twisted their head up so bad. Maybe don't call me the wrong name. And I'm like, what you do what I want to do, so I can dismiss it. But in general, I stayed on point to where we needed to be. Y'all get this? If you don't audit your schedule and have a plan for your time, others will come in and say, we don't need your time at this point. No. I think you got it backwards with me, personally. One guy said, well, some people have to, really do this. He's talking about those who are full-time and have kids at home. I said, that's their problem. I said, some people got to do this for a living. I'm doing this for a moment. Yeah, I get that. Then the manager looked at me like, oh. So yeah, this isn't my career. It's your career. So if you want my time here, then you have to respect my time. And that's really what I'm talking about. You have to respect your time. Y'all get this? If you don't respect your time, then those around you are going to waste your time. You may have seen me at meetings sometime, I'll just walk off because the minute I see the conversation goes into that land of it's like no return, which is the point that I'm like, I could care less about the conversation anymore. I know that I'm wasting my time at that moment. Say, hey, you gonna sign up? Well, I need to think about it. All right, have a good day. It's like, why? I don't need to think about it. I'm ready to do this. And I already know I'll put my personal commitment on the line for that person. But really, it's not that they need to think about it. It's that they don't believe in themselves. And people who don't believe in themselves, they have a hard time believing in you also. You'll get that. So you can't be trapped by their own disbelief. So what are you doing with your business? My goal and hope is that next week is different in our daily actions than last week. And each week we change the scope of how we do. I know that everyone should be making at least $50,000 a year, but I know that it comes with the numbers that you have to go through. You know, it's funny if people say, "Oh, God bless me with this good job." I'm like, well, good. And I believe that God does bless people with good jobs. I just know that you also, with His grace, can go higher than that. So if you just believe in Him for this job paying you $50,000 a year, then great. You'll get in, not realizing it. You'll come a part of somebody else's plan or scheme, whatever you want to call it, and then you'll fit their plan and scheme until they're tired of it. Then they'll say, "Well, thank you. We've hit our goal. Now we can let you go." Y'all know that happens, right? Mm-hmm. Companies only hire you to hit their goals. They can care less about you. It blows me away when people are like, "Well, this company really cares about me." Yeah, until they hit their goal. It took me to be a part of a company and they filed bankruptcy, and I'm like, "No, they care less the whole time." And ever since then, I've been president and CEO because I won't play people the way some will. Why? I actually love people and I believe in God. So if I do you wrong, it ain't about how you feel about me. I'm gonna get there one day and like, "God, you know, I did Fred wrong. Please forgive me." Like, you should have told Fred that back then. Matter of fact, you shouldn't have done it. Down you go. Right? So who am I really afraid of then? When you say fear God, I fear God because if I mess up with you, I have to answer Him. But when you get around people who don't answer to Him, then they could care less about me. Because He said, "How can I forgive you if you can't forgive your brother?" Enough of the scripture. Are you willing to invest in yourself? This is the biggest problem right here. Everyone is waiting for somebody else to do it for them. You'll hear some say entitlement programs when you're in politics. When you're in the hood, we'll hear them say you're welfare minded. The most hardest words I've had from people who have told me this is why they can't do it is that, "Well, if I make too much money, they're going to cut me off." And I'm like, that's the point. Right. And I'm like, so you'd rather hold on to nothing than get something. Mm-hmm. If I make too much money, they're going to cut me off. I'm like, oh, we will clash on every step of the way. We probably can't even go a block in the car together before you're going to have to let me have it. And I'm going to speak some knowledge on you, and it's going to offend them. You know, that's why I don't know if y'all heard me or read some of the writings. I'm like, never argue with a person with a victim mentality. You will lose every time. A victimized person is always right in their mind. And it would never get you anywhere. The only thing you can do is show them, lead them by example, and hope that something is revealed to them. They can have an aha moment. It's like, wow, Jason Lee actually did it. I know he was calling me all the time, but he stopped calling, but he did it when he said it. You become their motivation. But if you sit and argue with them, you need to do this, we can do this, we need to do this, you can do this, we can do this. They're going to be like, you just making William rich. You just making William rich. You just making Paul rich. Who else in there? Mm-hmm. Y'all going to jail. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. Let a negative post happen about the network marketing industry. They're going to send you that post. There's no winning. So I never entertained victimized people. I dealt with victimized people and I would bring them to my house and hoping that they would be like, "Whoa, okay." They're like, "Do you really need all that?" Like, then I made a comment one time talking to somebody like Probably ain't even been in my basement in 2 weeks. See, that just don't make sense then. Why have a house if you don't even go in the basement? I thought that was actually cool. That my house is so big that sometimes I don't even go to the basement. It's like, because I go really, the kitchen, little living room off from the kitchen, the bedroom, the office. It's 2 bathrooms on the first floor. Kids in the basement, I don't need to go down there. You get my point? But when I go down there, there's the pool table, we got the Pac-Man, the video games, we got the real arcade game. I'm going in front. You get what I'm saying? As well as the kids got the big screen with the Wii. So other people's kids come on like, they got real arcade in here. And others like, yeah, but I wonder how guys see all that. I'm like, why would he have streets paved with gold? You get my point? So in other words, you just can't win with a victimized person. So don't try to impress them. You're wasting your time. You get this? That's why I started the meeting last week. If you have a problem with seeing people have something nice, you're in the wrong place. Because what I want to do, I want to exalt you for your nice things. I want to exalt you for your good deeds. I want us to be able to just really, truly educate kids around the world. I want to truly do our part at stamping out hunger in the inner cities in the United States. You get that? And I'm not going to nail politicians to do it. You get that? Me and a whole bunch of CEOs and presidents that I know of companies, I'll go to them, hey, you give 100,000, what you got? Let's go over here in Chicago and help the shelter over here. And we ain't gotta let the press know. Y'all get my point? We just go do it. That's how you make change. How much would you pay to invest into your own personal knowledge and skill development? We see wealthy people send their kids to boarding schools. You get that? There are kids right now, I'm sure Brother Franklin, working in the school district, he can contest to it, that from first grade all the way up to senior in high school, they pay $40,000, $50,000 a year for schooling. Am I right? So you look at this and say, why, when you got a school that you could pay almost nothing, why would you send your kid to this one that's $40,000, $50,000 a year? And then we saving all our lives for college that's $40,000, $50,000 a year, and we act like that's a big deal. But to some, it's a way of life. Paradigm shift, huh? See, it hit me when I realized that most of the kids going to Boston University actually came from other private schools. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm explaining to my daughter that, hey, most of the kids that you be around, they're used to the dorm lifestyle. They're used to that because they're used to living at home. So they're just changing schools, but they're used to living mom and dad. So you have to adapt in there real quick because society is society and judgmental is judgmental. Y'all get my point? But I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, well, let's save it up for school. That's where they're like. So think about it. How much do you make a year? And I have 2 friends, the Bosherwood family. They're like very, very close friends. Begged me to run on the Republican ticket this last year. Mine. I don't believe in modern day lynching of a brother, but they're still close friends, and I respect them highly. The kids, same age as PJ, younger, go to private schools, don't know public schools. And I'm just having a conversation with Tom, and I'm just like, man, private all the way. Like, yeah. When you get to junior high, they go to Shattuck down, Northfield area. I'm like, man, 40,000, 50,000 a year. 3rd graders. You get my point? Mm-hmm. We need to get our money. How much money do you got to make a year when it ain't that, oh, kids need new shoes for school? Think about the level that we've been around. School starting in September, and we talking about getting kids school supplies and all that, and that's a big deal, and it's less than 500 total. And somebody else is writing a check for 45,000. You get me? And those are going to lead this work. Are we going to step our game? Are y'all with me? You with me, JMG kids, JMG folks, y'all with me? I don't want to overspeak your head, but I'm like, we got to get paid. Right. Because there's a race out here. And right now, certain people are losing that race. Right. And you can't get in the line of complainers. Well, this is what we need to do. Now we need to march again. No, we need to put our money where our mouth is. That's why there's a such thing of lobbyists, right? If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. Undergraduate, BA, a bachelor's degree at the University of Minnesota costs $24,718 a year. In 4 years, you spent almost $100,000. We have to be mindful of what's going on so that we can get ahead. Master's degree, conservatively, the cost per credit for grad school is $1,250 per credit. Average credits required for a full master's degree, 54, which means 12,500 times 54, 67,500 for the master's. So now you went 150,000 in. Second grade, third grade, fourth grade on the average private school. You see this? So they invest millions into their children. I want us to understand when you see people standing up and complaining to an Ivy League or complaining to a person that took their kid, I'm like, no, they've invested millions in their kids by the time the kid was out of school. And then they say, now, you be the attorney, you be the judge, you be the doctor, you be the decision maker, you be the CEO. And now you have to make judgment over these people who would never do that for their kids. Yeah? Y'all with me? I don't lose nobody now. Because we talking about making money. Right. I just want to speak to your heart. Business ownership also takes investing in yourself. Bootstrappers. That's what it's called. I am the king bootstrapper. Bootstrappers are startup entrepreneurs who have no financial resources behind their own savings. I have spent many nights on the couch because I have boots that cover my whole body. And when you can invest in something and lose 300, 400,000 a year and not even see zero return, your wife look at you like, you sure this is what God telling you? I'm like, yeah, well, I already saw the finish line. So they realized that to get what they need to start their business, location, equipment, money, and perhaps employees, they must process a double dose of ingenuity and supreme self-assurance. You just got to go for it. You're bootstrappers right now. How much do you invest in your business per week? Obviously, the JMG system costs millions. You know, when you count the time in, employees and all that, I mean, it's cool that you see some people come and help out, but nobody doing nothing for free. You know what I mean? Everybody may not be big money that paid, but they get paid something. Y'all with me? Mm-hmm. So, successful bootstrappers. John Shatner founded Papa John's International, the 164 million pizza restaurant franchise, with $1,600 in personal savings. So he put his own money in, and then he went and played the numbers. You get that? If that man, hey, I got to talk to 3 people a day and let them know I got this Papa John's pizza, and this Papa John's pizza is off the chain. Bill Gates and Paul Allen started Microsoft in a cheap apartment in Albuquerque with virtually no overhead, a borrowed computer, and very little capital. Bill Gates got the money from his mother. Just like, I got an idea. Okay, so obviously they're a $1 billion corporation today. Bill Gates is the #1 guy. Even if others will not invest in you, you must invest in you. Facebook guy, he had a friend put up a credit card of $1,000. Y'all realize that? Mm-hmm. That joint started with $1,000. This is buddy. He's like, I need a server, I need a computer, I need this, and I'll program it myself. I'll do the legwork. I'll play the numbers. Then from there, they told other people, then they got more people, then they got another investor. And then they came in. Matter of fact, what you don't realize is, this is what some people don't understand about business. Most of those companies had survived off of investment money on not profit. Most people say, oh man, it's been 2 years now. We ain't made a profit. I'm done. It's like they made their money when they went public. Now they're still making money. People don't realize it because now you can send gifts through Facebook. You do all this other little stuff. Other companies are spending advertisement dollars. You know, I tell you, we did a little thing, and even with Body Works, we spent like $100 a week. just creating a thing and just promoting it to get more likes and make people more aware of it. So just us by ourselves did that. Realize it's just like 64 billion people in there. I mean, it's only 7 billion people on the planet, but you know, they had that many people in their site. You know, it just felt like that. So these are all successes. So all the more proof that you don't need a lot of money to be an entrepreneur. You just have to be willing to take the first step into the unknown. Are y'all willing to do that? So if you realize and you say, well, I'll start to get to 50,000 a year. Then after I get to 50,000 a year, I'll work on making that 50,000 a month. You'll see how it turns over? You control the numbers. You control the time. Simple as that. As the company gets bigger, our systems will get even more sophisticated because we are taking proceeds and keep putting it into the company. And that's what we have done since the day we started. The one thing you got to worry about is just going out of business. That's people say, oh, how long will the company last? I'm like, man, if we was going out of business the first 6 months, I would have been gone. You get, I'm in too deep. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, we're going to finish this. So, Forbes started today. No individual raindrop ever considered itself responsible for the flood. You are your own raindrop. Everything that you do, every discussion you make does count. You have to speak to people constantly about your business. Some won't get it. Papa John's, I'll give y'all an example, is worth $164 million. I don't think I've even eaten at Papa John's in the last year. They are successful without me. Likewise, there will be some people who will not touch your service. You will be successful without them. I don't eat at McDonald's. They are successful without me. They look at me and be like, you'll eat with us. Don't. We're going to sell our billion burgers elsewhere. And they did it successfully. So when you hold on to a person who's not trying to do business with you, you're going to think like Papa John. Well, why do you need Papa John's in the year? They did it without him. Y'all get that? All he doesn't need McDonald's. They succeeded without him. Some people aren't going to touch your business. Do it without them. But keep on going. But we got to increase our mindsets. Y'all with me on this? See, one thing by me being connected with a whole bunch of just good CEOs and known people, we get to do things bigger. So we can count the cost. Would you take $5.63 per hour for 8 hours and invest in yourself $45 if you knew you'd be around real, true, solid millionaires? More travel, only 8 hours of your life. Like, where's he going with this? Give me $45. I tell you. Wealth Day 2013. Write this down. September 14th. At the DoubleTree by Hilton, 494 and 100. Who was at Wealth Day last December? Did you enjoy it? Well, good. So this one's going to be bigger and better. I want 1,000 people in the room. Those 1,000 people come from us. Now, everybody that's here gets in free because y'all gonna help. It's just us against the world. So Michelle, if you're watching, Diane is here, Jason Lee is here, little Jason Lee is here, William, Fred, Wallace, Sharonda, and Miss Beverly. Anybody come after that, no matter what excuse they give, baby had a baby, whatever. I know, Bert, I love you, but I'm gonna pick on you. I'm watching online. You gotta be present. You will pay. And I'm still gonna say, could you help usher people in? So that's my gift already. Second gift, learn from Midwest native, famous Dave Anderson, founder of Famous Dave, restaurant, the world's best barbecue joint, America's best steaks and ribs. Dave is highly sought after keynote speaker as he shares intimately with his audience the secrets of success and passion, energy, and enthusiasm. His company is worth $500 million. He did it. Now get me. Learn from Dr. Randall Pinkett, who's coming back, winner of season 4 of The Apprentice with Donald Trump. Dr. Pinkett is a scholar, entrepreneur, speaker, best-selling author, and community servant. He just got a $50 million contract with the government. His company. Yeah, I get so when people are like, oh, this stuff, I'm like, no, I'm not trying to hear from the barber cutting your hair telling you, oh, this is how this stuff works. No, he got a $50 million contract. That's not counting the other accounts he already had. Y'all get this? Next. This is a bad boy right here. Y'all don't get nothing. I'm going to be sitting front row. The fashion mogul J. Alexander Martin, co-founder and president of the iconic clothing line FUBU, who graced the stage of Wealth Day. So y'all see his partner on Shark Tank. Him and Damon are great buds. He's like, man, you got to bring a little more money. I can get Damon to come, though. That ain't a problem. Like, no, we got you. You do. You know the tricks. Oh, I needed somebody to tell me the tricks. In addition to his many clothing lines, Mr. Martin manages several nonprofit organizations and runs a prestigious consulting firm. That's off the chain. So everybody around is talking, I want to start a clothing line. I want to do this. I want to be in fashion. All right. Will you learn from a guy? And once you learn their story, Damon refinanced his house, put $100,000 cash out. Him and his mom stayed with his mother in Hollis, Queens. Jay Martin moved in. They ran a clothing thing downstairs. They lived upstairs. And all they did was in the beginning was sold hats, just FUBU hats. And then they expanded more and expanded more. The next thing you know, they got up and they were selling it for $400 million. And they still retain residuals from what they did. And I'm like, God, 400 million. And they still retain the residual. Yeah. So basically they sold it and you still got a cut. Right. So also taking part in the event will be Greg Davis from the TV show Good News with Greg Davis. Greg will be presenting and the viewing Wealth Day, the whole nine. This guy is off the chain. You know, and he has the book, How I Did It. Greg was 100 pounds heavier. You know, he just was like, you know what, I'm getting this off. No surgery, no cutting. He did. Also, additional speakers and consultants, Pam Perry. That is a social media guru. Major corporations brings her in to just lay out their whole social media and branding outlet. And this fine sister right here, best-selling author. When she said yes, I felt like I was the man. Because, you know, when you're in that world of authorship and all that, you know who the big authors are. So if I'm a singer, you know, that's Whitney Houston. Yeah, get my point? So to have a real best-selling author, I'm best-selling because I want to say it, but she's best-selling because people bought the book. Best-selling author of Fit, Fine, and Fabulous, Dr. Lorraine Wisham will share her secrets to marketing, branding, and being a successful coach. She's the $1 million solutionist, is what they coined her. She's Houston, Texas' most influential woman. And she's the global women's something. Her goal is to create more women billionaires, period, by consulting and showing them how to do it. This woman's 60-something years old. And then I'm like, okay. I'm like, I said, feel good. So Wallace hollered at it for me, dog. He said, I show you right. I deal with that one. But so just great spirit, great all that, and more to be announced. You know, Ice-T was coming. And his schedule got crossed up because they got agents booking him over there. And I'm like, I spoke to Ice yesterday myself. And Ice was like, yo, man, you know, 6 in the morning, you know, that's about it. Pick on me. Like 6 in the morning, Ice. You know, but we know so many people. So who didn't come to Wealth Day this time will be at the next one. And I'm like, well, we are more connected now than ever. So, Wealth Day event 9 to 5. Basically, at the Doubletree Hilton Bloomington tickets we purchase on wealthday.com, which we do have the new Wealth Day site. I'll let you see that, and then I'm gonna get to bring up my dear friend Brother Lockett. Mm-hmm. So go to wealthday.com, guest speaker, Famous Dave, J. Alexander Martin, you know, Paul D. Jones, look at that boy. Hey, Dr. Loreen, you know, the whole point is everything on the site, go through it, tell people about this. You know, we want people to come in who want to do a Pam Perry. You know, there are people, and this is what they do for a living. They're not authors. I don't get into those who want to write books and never succeeded. Each and every person actually have a successful business. They're hired and get big consultants from their business. Do y'all hear me? So we have to go ahead and build and tell people to get in this. So there's going to be perks of just being a JMG Network representative because y'all up front, personal and president. And you know what? This is actually for you guys. So in our agreements with them, it says no other MLM or home business can be discussed at any Wealth Day event because they know it's sponsored by JMG Network and My Financial. So that's who sponsors this, us. Now, all those people come in and I go up and I talk about credit and finances and daily budgeting. All you're doing is say, hey, what's your name? How you doing? Give me a number. What's your business you want to start? Well, I can help you get into business to start that. Let's go get 1,000 people in the room. So another week, you'll hear it on KMOJ. And we got time. We got August 1st and September 1st. So people can't say, oh, I didn't have my money. Look at this. And it's September 14th. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday. I already spoke to God and told him it'll be a beautiful day. Because last December 8th, it snowed, if y'all remember. And we still were standing room only. So it leads me to say, man, we had almost 150 people in the room and it snowed. Flights were canceled. We didn't know if Dr. Pinkett was even going to make it. You know, and it's funny. They actually made it, but flying out, they were stuck in the airport. So that got you good. You got them to us. That's what counts. So, any questions? Y'all know what to do? Y'all know it's a numbers game? Do you know how many people you can have in your organization by the time September 14th comes? That's what this is truly all about, is making sure you have people. So without further ado, let me bring up my dear friend, your dear friend in upline, Mr. William Lockett.
Y'all give it up for Brother Carl Jones. Y'all doing all right? Man, I tell you, today is a beautiful day. I don't know about you, but I'm excited about today. You know, we say that, and sometimes we just take life for granted. But do y'all really realize some people didn't wake up this morning? And I don't know about you, but when, you know, people around you begin to pass on, you know, life becomes more precious and you pay closer attention to what's going on. So yesterday morning, I get a call from one of my staff members. He was calling me to tell me he wasn't coming in for the day because he just found his brother, you know, passed away in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So for 2 days, he didn't show up for work. And so then they finally called him and say, well, you know, your brother hadn't shown up for work. You know, would you find out what's going on? Because it's not his norm. So he went over there and found his brother passed away, probably deceased for 2 days in the bed.
Wow.
You know, and I shared with you guys that my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And they said she doesn't do anything to treat it, that she only has a couple more months to live.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Paulie just went and buried his sister. I mean, so life is happening. And we don't know, you know, because the word of God says that tomorrow is not promised.
That's right.
You know, so we have to pay close attention to what we do have. We have today. In the event that you do wake up tomorrow, what are you doing today that is going to better prepare you for the tomorrow that you truly desire? And so last week I was just thinking about, you know, Brother Paulie was talking about seeds, and I just had this visualization of a bag of seeds. And so I just wanted to, you know, I'll be brief today, but I just want to talk about seeds. You know, I got a pack of seeds here, right? And on this package, this is spinach. I mean, it looks good. I mean, if I wanted a salad with spinach, you know, I can plant this seeds and I can grow me some spinach.
Mm-hmm.
But in this business and in life, once you come in contact with a lot of people that do, what they do is they look at the package. Man, I could make a fabulous salad with that. Oh man, that spinach is gonna be good. And they just satisfied with that. Just the thought of having it, not actually taking the package, first step to open the package, and then plant the seed. See, that requires work. A lot of people are satisfied and pleased with just the thought of what it can produce without actually experiencing the fruit of it. I have a family member that is notorious for that. You know, I was just ear hustling the other day, listening to him having a conversation, talking about, you know, he has a friend that, you know, works at this company that can get him this job and, you know, he can make this kind of money. And I'm just sitting there like, man, how many times have I heard him tell these stories about somebody helping him out to get a job? And it's like in his mind, he's already got the job. He's already making the money. He's already enjoying the benefits of it. Then after he goes through that whole scenario, he sits down. That's enough satisfaction for him just to think about it. But see, that's not why we're here today. We're here because we actually want to experience the desires of our heart. We actually want to enjoy the lifestyle. It's not enough. You know, as Brother Paulie said, you know, the dream, when you go to sleep is when you dream. But some of us want to actually be awake and experience the lifestyle that we dream about. But so many people you come in contact with is satisfied with just the dream and never the reality of the dream. And so this morning, I just want to talk about it's harvest time. See, in order to receive a harvest means that you actually got to open up that package, plant that seed in the proper environment that is conducive for growth in order to receive a harvest. So by you signing up in this business, you've opened up the package. Now you're in an environment that is conducive for growth. So I want everybody to repeat after me. I am a millionaire.
I am a millionaire.
Just in seed form.
Just in seed form.
Now understand that. You are a millionaire, but you're just in seed form, which means that you have to be planted in an environment that is conducive to grow you to become a millionaire. See, Wealth Day is an environment that is conducive for the thinking, the thought process of becoming a millionaire. Now, when you meet successful people, they live and breathe just like us.
Right.
When you talk with them, they have the same issues, you know, they have the same insecurities, but something on the inside of them was so stirred up that didn't allow them to get discouraged and quit. It's not that there's some supernatural beings that just was placed on earth that has some supernatural power that you and I don't possess that entitled them to become wealthy. It's that they had that passion. They had that desire. They had that drive on the inside of them. And something on the inside of them would not allow them to quit. And that's what you have to grab and take hold of. That passion, that desire. Because until you actually combine the potential of the seed with the environment that is conducive for growth, then you'll just have untapped potential. So let's write that word down here, potential. See, we all have it. You realize that this is a package of seeds. I would say there's probably hundreds of seeds in here. Why? Because they know all of them ain't gonna take. But on this package, it says 48 maturity or 48 days to maturity. So there's hundreds of seeds in here, but it's going to take a process of 48 days for it to mature. Does that mean that when you plant the seed that day one, you go dig it up to see it was beginning to take root? Day 10, day 20, when on the package it gives you the instructions, says 48 days. But do you realize also that each one of them seeds, as the scripture says, has the ability to reproduce more seed, right? So even though there's hundreds in there, all you need is one that has the potential. So it's not that you need hundreds of people. You have to have the potential within yourself. Then, as Brother Paulie laid out this morning, you have to go out there and reproduce yourself by getting your 3.
7 weeks exactly, 48 days.
7 weeks. And we've taught on that 7-week process.
Take 48 days, same process.
In order to grow your business. So let's go to the scripture. I always like to go to the foundation. The parable of the sower. On the same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat by the sea. And great multitudes were gathered together to him, so that he got into a boat, sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. Then he spoke many things to them in parables, saying, Behold, the sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured them. Some fell in stony places where they did not have much earth, and they immediately sprung up because they had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. You know, when I read the scripture, it reminded me of business. You know, as you're out there talking to people about your J&G business, see, it's going to fall on some stony ground or some closed ears that's not receptive to receive. You may talk to people that, you know, just as Paulie said, will give you the fake phone number rather than telling you no. But at the same time, they had no depth. They're not fertile ground. But if we understand this and we realize this, then why do we put so much credibility in individuals that aren't going to produce? Again, we have to really internalize our own goals and visions for ourselves. You have to put blinders on. See, as a true entrepreneur, you'll come in contact with people that may be wolves in sheep clothing trying to tell you that they're entrepreneur minded when they're really not. And the only thing that they're going to try to do is discourage you. See, they bought in to the concept of just being satisfied with the package. They're all right with just the potential, the thought of what it can produce, but never satisfied with the fruit of it because they're afraid. They're afraid that if they actually go out there and attempt to do it, that they may fail. So they may show themselves to be a failure to others as well as to themselves. So then as human beings, what we begin to do is to protect ourselves from failure. Protect ourselves from being burnt. So therefore, we'll just, in our mind, say, well, I ain't got time to do that. But if I did it, you know, I'll blow it up. But I just ain't got time to do it. Well, in actuality, they're afraid that if they attempt to do something, that they would not be successful at it, and then truly be tested to see whether or not they actually had the ability to be successful at it. So do you see why some people stop at start? They never attempt to do something because then they'll be exposed for who and what they really are, but not even truly understanding to the fullest that true entrepreneurs aren't afraid to fail. That you learn from your failures, but you're not a failure unless you quit.
Right.
But if you're afraid to fail, what do you do to safeguard yourself? You never start anything. So therefore, you never have to worry about finishing something that you never started. But that's not our mindset. See, we're here to empower you with the characteristics and the tools and information of what it takes to be successful. Not that we were perfect, not that we are perfect, but we understand the characteristics that's required in order to be a successful business person, in order to be successful in life. Only thing we're saying is that don't short circuit yourself. Don't sell yourself short because you don't think that you have everything that you need in order to be successful. We're here to testify and tell you that you do have everything that you need in order to be successful because you have seed form potential. You just have to have the fortitude to go the distance. Because any and every success story has the same pattern. They just would not quit. No matter how much adversity try to rear its ugly head, a true entrepreneur will never quit.
That's right.
We make adjustments. That's why it's not a matter of looking at a problem. It's a matter of looking at an opportunity. Rather than seeing problems, entrepreneurs see opportunities. Because when a problem presents itself, it's an opportunity for you to come with a solution. Because those that solve problems are the ones that get paid to solve problems. You know, it's amazing to me how many calls I get a day from my employees with problems. And I'm sitting there like, they be simple things. I'll give you an example. The other day they came to me and said the freezer's not working. So I went to the freezer. I checked the dial. I didn't see the motor click on when I turned the dial. Because you know when you turn something up, the motor's supposed to kick in to show that, okay, now I'm about to turn up the temperature, right? So I immediately went downstairs to the circuit breaker to check to see whether or not the circuit breaker was on. Well, guess what? The circuit was off. I just flicked the circuit back on, boom, the freezer kicked back in. And I'm saying like, these are grown men. I mean, have you ever been in the storm and the circuit blows out? Yeah. But a lot of times people are just like Brother Paulie said, not knowing or ignorant to the problem, because rather than investigating and trying to solve a problem, they just see a problem and stop there. Mm-hmm. Oh, we got to get a new freezer. But when you face enough situations, then you can say, you know what? Let's investigate this to actually get to the root of the problem, rather than just seeing a problem and being stuck. So we have the solution to people's financial problems. Think about this. As Brother Paulie also said, and I'm sitting there listening to his teaching this morning, I'm like, wow, he's stepping all over my toes. But think about this. A lot of you are having problems with people that you're talking to because they think they know who you were, right? Not who you are now, because now you're a different person, right? You're on a mission. You're on track to do something different with your life, right? But the people that have known you are accustomed to you being a certain way, right? So let's just think about this line of thought here. What if you actually started using the My Financial Worth service, benefiting from it personally, and then those same individuals that have known you started seeing small changes in you? So if you got burnt up credit, you start getting your credit right? Now all of a sudden you upgrade your vehicle. Now you upgrade your living situation. Now all of a sudden you're on top of your budget, so now you're actually able to have more money per month. So now you got money in your pocket. So the same people that have been looking at you all this time are starting to see some changes in your behavior. Starting to see some changes, some outward manifestation of the changes that's going on the inside, right? Because now you're more mindful and on top of your personal business, right? So now they're beginning to see the outward manifestation of that.
Right.
Now you become that light. Now you become that example. Now it gets their attention. What are you doing different now that you weren't doing in the past that is now bringing about a change in your personal life? Sometimes we have to be the example for those that are around us.
Right.
So it's not enough for you to just, talk to them about this business opportunity without them seeing some type of change in you personally that now they can attach themselves to. So as we've always said, you have to be a product of the product. So when they begin to see how the product is actually benefiting you, now you can give them a personal testimony because now they're beginning to observe some outward manifestation of it actually impacting you personally. Y'all get that?
Mm-hmm.
And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them out. But others fell on good ground and yielded a crop. Some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. This is what I'm talking about. So you have to be the good fertile ground.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you have to begin to bring forth the manifestation of what it is that we have. So that it's not just, William and Paulie, and, you're making them rich. No, I'm getting rich.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally benefiting. Okay? I'm working on a plan, and yes, I'm making progress, steps towards my goal. But they can begin to see the steps and the progress towards the goal. Y'all getting?
Yes, sir.
So it's more personal. It's more personal because then they can connect with you personally because they may not know Paulie or myself.
Right.
And it's easier for them to discount the power of the system if you're just talking about individuals that's already got it financially. So you have to become the testimony
Yes.
of how it actually personally helped you. So you have to use the service, change your credit, monitor your identity, use the tax preparation, tax advice, set up the budget, and use the services so that you will begin to have the personal benefits and it will begin to manifest outwardly so those close around you will begin to see a difference in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go to them and they've been observing you and you've been in business for some time now and they don't see no change, you still driving around in the same vehicle, living in the same home and still having the same issues, they're not seeing how it's real.
Right.
So you have to make it real to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been the goal of this company. And that is to educate you financially, personally, and for this business and this opportunity to change and impact your life so that we can be a magnet for those out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not enough just to come here Saturdays and Tuesdays, but we truly have to become educated and use the services, and the services have to benefit you personally. Then as you share your personal story testimony, then as the word says, they will be drawn unto you by the word of your testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Let's drop down to Matthew 13:18, the explanation of the parable. Therefore, hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. When they don't see the manifestation, sure, that one is. Then the doubters, as the word calls them, the wicked ones, will begin to tear away at what you believe to be true and try to discourage you and tell you that it's not real. But when you've experienced something for yourself, then there's no convincing you that you don't know what you know.
Mm-hmm.
True?
True.
Because you know it deep down in your being that you know that you know. So when somebody comes and challenges what you know that you know, you like talk to the hand because you know within yourself, you've experienced it. Now, prior to me experiencing the move of God in my life personally, yes, new doctrines come out, people talk good, they make it sound good, they try to back it up with facts and all this other stuff. But if I hadn't had a personal experience, then I may have been swayed to believe this or that because it's popular, it sounds good. But because I had a personal experience, there's no turning back. There's no convincing me otherwise. There's no convincing me that I can't live the lifestyle that I'm living legally. So therefore, somebody can't come and tell me, convince me that black people can't live on this level.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you never experienced the level, and somebody comes and tell you, well, why people need to live like that? I don't know nobody living like that. Don't nobody need to be living like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you may be inclined to agree with them because you haven't been exposed to it. If you've never eaten at Ruth Chris and you've never eaten at five-star restaurants and you taste the difference in, premium quality meat versus the meat that you buy at the grocery store, you may say, why somebody need to spend $50, $60 for a steak? I can go get me a $5, $10 steak, it'd be just as good. I'll be full.
Keeping crap.
Yes, you may be full, but it's not because you had less and it was better quality. It's because you had this big old steak and you had to eat more, but because you wasted half of it because half of it wasn't no good.
Mm-hmm.
But then, what else are you putting in your body that you can't see?
Mm-hmm.
See, like I said, my mother just being diagnosed with cancer. See, this thing's going on inside of ourselves that we don't even know is going on.
Mm-hmm.
By the grace of God, she had an accident over a month ago. She wasn't even aware that she had lung cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So hadn't that accident happened, then we would have been going around here functioning like everything was normal. And then all of a sudden, my mother would have just fell dead, not knowing what was going on. So we are what we eat. So we do have to be conscious of what we put in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And meat just ain't meat. There's good meat and there's bad meat.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on. This is he who receives seed by the wayside, but he who receives seed on stony places, this is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no root in himself, but endures only for a while. Isn't it amazing how people get excited when you sitting there talking to them? They gonna come to the meetings, they gonna come to the training, they gonna tear this business up. You learn from your experiences, right? I remember I had this one gentleman one time telling me how he was gonna blow this business up and he gonna do better than Paulie. I called Paulie right there. Paulie like, he ain't gonna do nothing. Sure enough, I ain't see or hear from that guy from that day to this day. So I learned I don't call Paulie no more when somebody tell me what they're gonna do. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles. That is so true in your business. I had a guy signed up a couple of weeks ago, and he flagged me down, telling me that, oh man, this is God, this is a blessing. Then he brought his girlfriend out to the meeting. I ain't heard from him since. And I can tell that her spirit, that she was not feeling it at all. It's like he's trying to talk to me. She's walking down the corridor, leaving him. And so he's like, like perplexed, like, I want to stay here and talk to you, but my girl's leaving me. So he started walking and talking to me. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. But I ain't heard from him since. Was excited, like, wow, this is a blessing. But it was stony.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't fertile ground.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remove those stones. You have to till up that heart. And until they're receptive to receive it fully, don't be confused when they come in and they go out. That's why you have to constantly be recruited. That's why you constantly have to be tilling up more ground, because you never know, the condition of the heart. So if you get an individual that you think that, okay, I got one, this is going to be the one that has the potential to produce, and then all of a sudden they sit down. But if you haven't safeguarded yourself, then you begin to get discouraged. But he who receives seed on good ground is he who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and produces, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. So again, those that have the right mindset, they don't talk about what they're going to do. They just go out and do it. They go out and they follow the instructions that you give them. They go out there and they see themselves as producers. It's almost like you got to say, hold on. This is the plan. You got to stay to the plan, because they're so geared up and reared to go that they trying to run past you, because they get it. Because they get the fact that they see this as an opportunity that has the potential to change their life. They don't see this as them working for you. They don't see this as a business that they have to be tied to you. They see this as a solution and an answer to their future. And they want their future now. So therefore, they have the spirit and the attitude to go out there and start building their business. So let's look at this right here. Because as I was on the call Thursday night, Brother Mario, I was just listening. Sometimes you can hear something over and over again. Then at the right time, you hear something that sounds new. And this is what I heard Thursday. You go get your 3 people and your 5 customer points, right? Now we know the goal and the plan is to get promoted to senior director, which is 3-9, right?
That's right.
But what if you go get your 3, you got your 5 customer points? They go get their 3, they got their 5 customer points. You know what that begins to create? Now, in order to get the vacation, right, you got to be a senior director, but you need 250, right?
That's correct.
So that means once you get promoted and you now are building your senior director code, because everybody wants to get promoted to senior director, that actually means that you need less people if everybody's getting 5 customer points.
Right.
So that means, what is this? 3, 9, 27. 9 plus 27 is 36 plus 1, 37, right? Times 5. So you're at 100 and what? 40 something. So with 50 people times 5, that's 250, right? So rather than having to be down so far, now you're actually dealing with less people in order to get qualified for the bonuses. So that means that you're now down here on the 4th level rather than the 5th level, qualified for a vacation plus the $1,500 a month Go a little further. Now you qualify for the Cadillac Escalade, and it's with less people.
Mhm.
But on top of that, that also means that the bonuses are coming because you're still getting paid the bonuses, plus the residual is coming, which is going to be greater because you're talking about more customer points, but with a smaller volume of people. But do y'all see how we can do this much quicker if we just change our conversation and put the emphasis on getting the 5 customer points?
Mhm.
And just like how we did the Rondo Day event, people were exposed to it, people enjoyed it. You know, getting people actually moved to placing orders will be a lot easier to get customer points, as well as getting people promoted. Because then, if this is the focus to get your 5 customer points plus your 3, now once they're down here, they're automatically promoted. Now they move over here and they start building in the senior director code and doing that same plan. Now all of a sudden, you're getting qualified for the bonuses as well.
Right.
And you're getting more and more people promoted, which is going to put you in a position quicker to get upgraded to ESD.
Right.
Plus, say what, 5,000 rather than times 1, now it'd be times 5 per month. So let's just turn up the heat, y'all. Because it truly is harvest time. And with Wealth Day coming, let's not procrastinate and wait to the last minute. Let's go ahead and put the energy and effort in promoting it now, because it only helps all of our business. You know, when we were out there at the Rondo days, man, it felt so good, didn't it? When you run into people and say, oh yeah, that's some steak thing, you know, the steak people, you know, because the kids was all the way on the other side of the park passing out flyers and stuff. And by the time people came around to the vendor's booth, the food booth, they had already heard about it. And then I heard some people say, man, you know, I ain't never heard of you guys. In fact, we had one individual that came up to the booth and seen somebody behind the booth that they knew. It was like, why didn't you tell me about this business? Because they were friends. But somebody else had approached her and brought her to the booth.
Mhm.
So that tells me that people just really aren't communicating, getting the word out there. But once you spread the word, it becomes easier and easier, to talk to people, because now the soil has already been turned. So then when they hear somebody else come after they've been approached before, now all of a sudden it creates a sense of urgency, because it's like, man, more than one person knows about this. Maybe I need to take a serious look at this business, because it seems to be growing and catching on. And people don't want to be left out. They want to be included. So again, become a product of the product. Allow the product to bear fruit in your life, to change you financially, help you to budget yourself, to help you to upgrade your lifestyle. Then other people that are close to you will begin to see that. And now that will speak louder than your words of saying, come join this business with me. When they begin to see how the business is actually benefiting you. All right? Matthew 17:20. So Jesus said to them, because of your unbelief, for surely I say to you, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible to you. Like I said, in the seed is the potential to produce more seed. So until that seed begins to grow, meaning like the faith begins to grow, but all it takes is just the potential a little bit in order to produce, then there's nothing that is impossible to you because you had the faith to believe in the impossible.
Mhm.
You had the faith to believe that this business is the solution. You had the faith to believe that you are a millionaire in seed form. Now it's just a matter of you being in an environment that's conducive to grow that seed, as well as to have the fortitude to go the distance. And it's just a matter of time before it actually manifests on the outside. Even though I wasn't where I'm at today, years ago, my mind was still where I'm at today.
Mhm.
So therefore, I didn't allow the fact that I didn't have money. I didn't allow the fact that I was going through foreclosure. I didn't allow the fact that my personal life wasn't where I wanted to be to discourage me, to bring doubt in the future that I believe for. So therefore, I always lived how I'm living now. It was just a matter of time before I actually began to live in reality the life that I'm living now. But it began in my mind. So when it didn't fit what I thought it should be, I wouldn't accept it.
Mhm.
I understood I was going through something, but I understood I was going through something in order to prepare me for where I was going.
Mhm.
But whatever I was going through was not my resting place. So I never accepted it as my final reality. How many people do you know that you have come in contact with that said, this is where I was born, this is where my family's been, this is where I'm going to die, this is the way it's always been, this is the way it's always going to be? It's like nothing changes. And they have accepted that as though that's the reality for the rest of their life. But the word says it's temporal. So why allow a temporary situation to become an everlasting situation that was never meant to be everlasting? But if you don't believe it within yourself, if you don't believe that you have the potential, if you don't believe that you was created for greater, then you will accept whatever comes your way. Because you think that this is the way it's supposed to be because it's coming your way. But if you understand by faith, you understand it's only coming every test and every trial to make you stronger, to prepare you for something greater. But if you think that where you're at is the greatest and that there is nothing above, why would you try anything different? Do you see why so many people accept mediocrity as a way of life? They never challenge themselves. They'll just look at the package, say, man, that salad be good. Man, I can just imagine what it tastes like. But why do I need to eat it? I can just look at the picture. I ain't got time to go dig up no ground and plant no seed. And then accept whatever they get. No, we're here because we want to live the reality of the life that we dream about. We're here because we have an opportunity to make that real. But just like I said, that one seed has the potential to produce a mighty harvest. You're a seed that has the potential to produce a mighty harvest, not just for your own personal consumption, but there's others that are dependent and waiting on you to produce. That your seed will feed others. So we're just not here of ourselves for ourselves. We're here because we're willing to make a decision and do something that others won't do. That's why you have to become a testimony. You have to become a product of the product. So others will be able to see through your eyes how real and how powerful this opportunity is. So never allow anyone to discourage you or rob you of that testimony, because by you being willing to be used as a vessel, guess what? You become a conduit for the blessing that comes through the vessel in order for others to be able to see and witness the blessing. That's all we are. We're just vessels to be blessed through so others can see what the potential is, because they don't have the willingness and the desire like we do. So go out there and multiply yourselves. Follow that system. 3 people a day. Use the My Financial Way. Order the Bodywork States. so that you can testify and tell somebody else or invite somebody else over. And then after they eat it, sit them down in front of the computer and show them how to order the food themselves.
Mhm.
But it's harvest time, y'all.
Mhm.
Let's go out there and make some money. Let's go out there and help others make some money. God bless.
And just so y'all are aware, if you were to really seriously take 3 this week serious, up to Wealth Day, that is 7 weeks, just like he showed the seeds take 48 days to that. So that everything that William just taught and the events that we have coming up, that means that whole room could be filled up with your representatives getting that much encouragement and inspiration to go out and build their business. So let's make sure that everyone gets registered for Wealth Day, because I'm really not into that last thing anyway. That's like a curse. You know, when you see big concerts sell out, they sell out in the first week. When you see certain people do things, they wait till the last week. When a person waits to the last week, what that represents is it wasn't that important. But when things are important, it happens in the first week. So what you put first in life is what comes to you first. What you put last in life is what comes to you last. So let's make sure we put, things in order. So it's wealthday.com. The old site was .net. So make sure people are going to wealthday.com and ordering, and then we'll make it work. All right. God bless.
God bless.